Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Lang Yarns Jawoll. This 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon yarn features 85 colors. The colorway that we chose is 0339. This 50-gram skein with 210 meters or 230 yards works up as a fingering weight yarn. The suggested gauge on 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter needles is 30 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For our swatch, I'll be using a 3.5 millimeter needle size. In today's video, we're going to review and score Lang Yarns Jawoll using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Let's get started. For availability, we give Lang Yarns Jawoll a score of 4.5 out of 5. Lang Yarns originate in Germany, but it is definitely popular here in the States. Not only is it available on Lovecrafts and Webs, but other craft shops too, like Wool & Company, who offer free US shipping, and also Paradise Fibers. So if after today's review you're interested in trying this yarn out, you shouldn't have much difficulty finding it, maybe even at your local craft shop. For softness, we give it a score of 3.9 out of 5. Let me first say that I was so impressed with the Lang Yarns website because most yarns, when the skein says wool, you don't actually know what type of wool it is, but that is not the case for this one. The 75% superwash wool content in this yarn originates from the Kooij sheep, which this particular wool is sourced from the Chilean Patagonia. Kooij wool combines the softness and bounce of the merino with luster commonly found in long wool breeds. Initially, just picking up the skein, I could recognize it having a softer hand, even though it looks like it could be rustic. It did feel a little less soft when working with it, but that still didn't stop me from enjoying it. For comparison, this yarn is softer than Cascade Yarns 220 and not quite as soft as West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Blueface Leicester DK. I'd say it's pretty comparable to West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply and Sandnes Garn Sisu. For a micron count or softness scale rating, again the website actually included this too. It is a 25 micron count, which is in between a merino and a Peruvian Highland wool. So if you're wanting to use a woolly looking yarn, but Peruvian Highland wool is too rustic, this could be a yarn for you to consider, as you shouldn't have much, if any, issues at all wearing this yarn next to your skin. For traction, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. I've really enjoyed working with this yarn. Similar to a Blueface Leicester, I just couldn't believe that I was able to work with a more woolly yarn without it irritating my skin as I was working with it. It knitted up well for me, not too slippery and not too much grip on my nickel-plated needles. It does have a few fibers standing up, but I didn't notice these getting in the way. The twist of this yarn also didn't give me any issues with splitting or coming apart. As you can probably imagine, this yarn looks and acts like a Peruvian Highland wool, but this one has that little bit of a softer hand. I did, however, notice that it had more of a grip on my finger in comparison to my needles. I also do want to mention that after blocking, maybe it was because I used a larger needle size, but the stitch definition just wasn't as neat and even as I hoped it would be. But regardless, whether you are a beginner or even a more experienced knitter, I think it has a good amount of both traction and glide on the needles. For durability, we give it a score of 5 out of 5. Again, brownie points to Lang Yarns for mentioning that this is a 75% superwash Kooij wool. The feeling and qualities of this wool remind me of a softer but very durable and hardy Peruvian Highland wool. Similar to the qualities of rustic wool, this yarn has an increased amount of strength and is hardier than, for example, merino yarn. As is the nature of a lot of sock yarns, this yarn does feature 25% nylon for that extra strength to hold up with the wear and tear that you might experience in a pair of socks. Now, since this yarn is superwash treated, you shouldn't have to worry about the fibers felting or putting the yarn in the washing machine. For example, a pair of socks. The nylon content plus the strength of the wool will really allow your projects to last without worrying about it felting. For cost, we give it a score of 4 out of 5. For being a 50-gram skein, you can expect to pay $7.99 or $8 US per skein. This breaks down to about 3 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater would cost approximately $48 or $16 for 2 skeins to make a pair of socks. Overall, we give Lang Yarns Jawoll a score of 4.38 out of 5. Now, this is a pretty good scoring sock yarn if you ask me. And actually, this is the highest score we've given this year, believe it or not. It has a beautiful color selection and is pretty widely available here in the States. I enjoyed its softness and little bit of grip when working with it, but not too rustic that my sensitive skin couldn't handle it. I think I would be happy to work with this one again. So we had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you if you're wanting to use this yarn for a project of your own. The first pattern is the Be My Baby Socks by Femke of the Mindful Creators, who has a YouTube channel that I recommend you checking out if you're interested. This free sock pattern features 3 sizes on 2.25mm needles and is worked from the cuff to the toe. The ribbing at the top is worked in a 2x2 rib and includes smaller stripes. The body of the sock includes larger stripes with a contrasting heel flap and toe. The pattern recommends using 5 mini skeins, but you could use 2 or however many colors you'd like to design and create your own fun stripy socks. The next pattern is Pumpkins and Spice Socks by This Handmade Life. These socks feature a twisted rib cuff, cables on the front, and texture on the back of the leg. They are knit cuff down and in the round. Magic loop is recommended, but DPNs are also an option if you prefer that method. They remind me of coziness in autumn and just make me want to curl up next to a fire, drink some cider, and knit, don't you think? The last pattern is the Multnomah Falls Cardigan by Hopkins. It features 9 sizes ranging from extra small to 5XL and recommends 6 inches or 15 centimeters of positive ease at the bust. It is a fun cardigan with a modern twist, simple braided cables bordered by an easy lace stitch. It is knit top down and totally seamless with modified drop shoulders. The design includes quite a bit of structure that will allow you to keep its shape over time. It actually can be made in several yarn weights, from fingering to sport or a combination of the two. Then you can just adjust the needle size to meet gauge. So you can choose a lighter yarn for a light, airy cardigan or use a sport weight for a heavier cardigan. Have you used Lang Yarns Jawoll yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.